There is a simple, profound joy in watching something grow. It is a connection to the earth, a quiet magic we can all take part in. Growing an avocado from the seed left over from your lunch is one of the most rewarding projects you can undertake. It is a small act of hope. You are turning a piece of kitchen waste into a living, breathing plant. Yet many people try and find themselves disappointed. They stick toothpicks in the seed, suspend it over a glass of water, and wait for something that never happens. The seed turns moldy, it goes soft, or it simply sits there, stubbornly refusing to sprout. This is a common story, but it doesn't have to be yours. The main reason these seeds fail is often quite simple. The environment is not quite right. The popular toothpick method exposes the seed to too much light, which can inhibit the process of germination. It also makes it difficult to maintain the consistent moisture and humidity that an avocado seed truly craves to awaken from its slumber. Sometimes, the water is not changed often enough, leading to bacteria and rot. Other times, the seed itself wasn't prepared properly, leaving behind a barrier that prevents it from absorbing the water it needs. It's a delicate balance, but one that is easily achieved when you know how. Forget the toothpicks and the precarious balancing act over a glass. I am going to show you a far more reliable method. It is a technique that mimics the conditions a seed would find on the forest floor, nestled in damp leaf litter. This method is all about creating a consistently moist, dark, and warm environment. It is a gentle and forgiving way to coax life from your avocado stone. With this approach, you are not fighting against the seed's nature. You are working with it. You will see that with a bit of care and attention, success is not only possible but probable within just a few months. This journey, from a hard stone to a leafy plant, takes about 4 months. It is not a process to be rushed. It teaches us a valuable lesson in gardening patience. Each stage has its own rhythm, its own quiet timeline. By understanding why failures happen, we can sidestep those common pitfalls. We can avoid the disappointment of a moldy seed and instead experience the thrill of seeing that first crack appear. This is your chance to nurture a new life, to bring a touch of the exotic into your home, and to grow something truly special with your own 2 hands. It all begins with one good seed. Your journey starts the moment you cut open a ripe avocado. Inside, you will find the seed, or the stone. This is the powerhouse, the vessel containing all the genetic information needed to grow a magnificent tree. But before it can begin its transformation, it needs a little help from you. The first and most important step is to clean it thoroughly. Any remaining flesh from the fruit must be washed away gently under cool, running water. Use your fingers or a soft brush to scrub it clean. This is vital because any leftover fruit will quickly invite mold and bacteria, which are the enemies of a healthy germination. Once the seed is perfectly clean, you will notice it is covered by a thin, papery brown skin. This is its protective layer. While it serves a purpose in nature, for our goal of sprouting it quickly, this skin needs to be removed. It can act as a barrier, slowing down the absorption of water. To peel it, you must first let the seed dry for a day or 2 on a windowsill. As it dries, the skin will shrink slightly and become brittle, making it much easier to peel off with your fingers. Be gentle. You are not trying to gouge the seed, just slip off its outer coat. When you have the naked seed in your hand, you will see it is not a perfect sphere. It has a distinct top and a bottom. The bottom is the slightly flatter part, often with a small, pale, circular mark. This is where the root will emerge. The top is the pointier end, and this is where the shoot will eventually grow from. Identifying the top and bottom now is crucial for later. Getting it wrong is a common mistake. If you plant the seed upside down, the root and shoot will have a much harder time finding their correct direction, wasting precious energy and time. With your seed clean, peeled, and correctly oriented, it is now ready for the next stage. This preparation might seem meticulous, but it is these small details that make all the difference. You have removed the potential for rot, you have made it easier for the seed to absorb moisture, and you have identified the direction of growth. You have given your seed the very best possible start in life. This careful beginning sets the stage for success and dramatically increases your chances of seeing that first powerful root push its way out into the world. You have prepared the ground, so to speak. Now we create the ideal environment for your seed to sprout. We need to make a moist chamber. This will provide the constant humidity and darkness that the seed needs to feel safe enough to germinate. You will need a clear plastic bag, like a zip-top food bag, and a handful of a sterile growing medium. I find that cocoa peat, which is made from coconut husks, or sphagnum moss work beautifully for this. Both of these materials are fantastic at holding onto moisture without becoming waterlogged, and they are naturally resistant to mold and fungus, which is a great advantage. Take a good handful of your chosen cocoa peat or moss and place it in a bowl. Slowly add a little water and mix it with your hands. You are aiming for the consistency of a well-wrung-out sponge. It should be damp all the way through, but not dripping wet. If you squeeze a handful, only a drop or two of water should come out. This is the perfect level of moisture. Too dry, and the seed will not get the signal to grow. Too wet, and you risk the seed rotting before it has a chance to sprout. Getting this moisture level just right is the secret to this entire method. Once your medium is perfectly damp, place a generous layer of it inside the plastic bag, creating a soft bed for your seed. Now, take your clean, peeled avocado seed and gently press it into the cocoa peat or moss. Place it on its side. You do not need to worry too much about the top and bottom at this stage, as the root and shoot will find their own way. Just lay it down and then cover it with another light layer of the damp medium. The seed should be nestled in, but not buried too deeply. It needs to be surrounded by that gentle, consistent moisture on all sides. Finally, press most of the air out of the bag and seal it shut. This simple plastic bag is now a miniature greenhouse. It will trap the moisture inside, creating a wonderfully humid microclimate. This enclosed environment means you will not have to worry about the seed drying out. The bag will do the work for you, maintaining that perfect level of dampness day after day. You have created a safe, dark, and humid nest, perfectly mimicking the conditions of a tropical forest floor. Your seed now has everything it needs to begin the magical process of germination. Now that your seed is tucked away in its moist chamber, the waiting begins. This part of the process requires patience, which is perhaps the most important tool a gardener can have. Place the sealed bag in a warm, dark place. A spot in an airing cupboard, on top of a refrigerator, or simply in a warm drawer will do nicely. The key here is warmth. Avocado seeds germinate best at temperatures between 20 and 25 degrees Celsius. The darkness is also important, as it signals to the seed that it is underground and it is time to send out a root. Avoid placing it on a sunny windowsill at this stage. You should check on your seed about once a week. There is no need to fuss over it more than that. Simply open the bag and feel the growing medium. It should still feel damp, like that wrung-out sponge. Thanks to the sealed bag, it is unlikely to have dried out, but it is always good to check. If it does feel a little dry, you can add a light mist of water from a spray bottle. While you are there, check the seed itself. Look for any signs of mold. If you see any, you can gently wipe it off with a damp cloth. Using a sterile medium like cocoa peat greatly reduces this risk, however. After a few weeks, you will start to see some action. The first sign is usually the seed splitting in two. Do not be alarmed, this is exactly what you want to see. A crack will appear, running from the top to the bottom. Then, from the base of that crack, a small, pale root will begin to emerge. This is a moment of pure joy. It is the first visible sign of life. This primary root, called the taproot, will grow surprisingly quickly. It will snake its way down into the damp medium, seeking out moisture and stability. Your patience is beginning to pay off. Over the next month or so, this root will continue to grow longer and thicker. Then, another exciting event will occur. From the top of the crack, a tiny shoot will begin to poke its head out. This is the future stem of your avocado tree. Once the root is a good 3 to 4 inches long and the shoot has started to appear, your seed is ready for the next big step in its life. The time in the dark, damp chamber has been a success. The seed has awakened, and it is now strong enough to be moved into its first proper home, a pot of soil. The day you move your sprouted seed into a pot is a significant milestone. Your plant is graduating from its nursery. You will know it is ready when the taproot is at least 3 to 4 inches long, and you can see the beginnings of a stem emerging from the top. Choose a suitable pot for its first home. A pot around 6 inches in diameter is a good starting size. It is important that the pot has drainage holes at the bottom. Without good drainage, water will collect and rot the roots, undoing all your good work. Terracotta pots are excellent as they are porous and allow the soil to breathe. Fill your chosen pot with a good quality, well-draining potting compost. A mix designed for houseplants or cacti works very well. Do not use heavy garden soil, as it will be too dense and can hold too much water. Make a hole in the center of the compost that is deep enough to accommodate the long taproot. You want to handle the sprouted seed with great care at this stage. The young root is fragile and can be easily damaged. Gently lift the entire seed along with its root from the moist chamber. Try not to break the root or knock off the emerging shoot. Place the root gently into the hole you have made in the compost. The goal is to plant the seed so that the bottom half, where the root is emerging, is buried in the soil, and the top half is left exposed to the air and light. This is very important. Do not bury the entire seed. The top half needs to be above the soil line so that the shoot can grow freely upwards towards the light. Once the seed is in place, gently firm the compost around it to hold it steady. You want it to be secure, but do not compact the soil too much. After planting, give your new plant its first proper watering. Water the soil thoroughly until you see water running out of the drainage holes at the bottom of the pot. This helps to settle the soil around the roots and eliminates any air pockets. From this moment on, your avocado is no longer just a sprouting seed. It is a potted plant. It will now begin to draw nutrients and water from the soil, and its shoot will start to grow into a stem with leaves. You have successfully guided it through its most vulnerable stage. Now that your avocado tree is in its new pot, your role as its caretaker continues. The first few months in soil are crucial for establishing a strong and healthy plant. Place the pot in a bright spot, but not in direct, harsh sunlight. A bright windowsill that receives indirect light is perfect. Too much direct sun at this early stage can scorch the delicate new leaves. Your plant has spent its whole life in darkness, so it needs to acclimatize to the light gradually. As the plant grows stronger over the coming months, you can slowly introduce it to more direct sunlight. Watering is now one of your most important jobs. Avocado trees like consistently moist soil, but they absolutely hate to have wet feet. The key is to water thoroughly when the top inch or two of the soil feels dry to the touch. Poke your finger into the soil to check. If it feels dry, it is time to water. Pour water over the soil until it runs freely from the drainage holes. Then, allow the pot to drain completely and do not let it sit in a saucer of water. Overwatering is the most common way people kill their young avocado plants, as it leads to root rot. For the first month or two in soil, the plant will get all the nutrients it needs from the seed itself. You will notice the two halves of the seed, the cotyledons, will remain attached as the stem grows. They are the plant's packed lunch. Once your tree has grown several sets of leaves and is about 6 to 7 inches tall, you can start to think about its first feed. Use a balanced, water-soluble houseplant fertilizer, but dilute it to half the recommended strength. Young plants are sensitive, and too much fertilizer can burn their roots. Feed it once every 4 to 6 weeks during the spring and summer growing season. To encourage a bushy, strong plant rather than a single, spindly stem, you will want to prune it. When your tree is about 6 inches tall, take a clean, sharp pair of scissors or secateurs and snip off the very top set of leaves. This might feel cruel, but it is an act of kindness. This pinching out will encourage the plant to send out side shoots from the nodes below the cut, creating branches. Every time the plant grows another 6 inches, you can repeat the process. This will give you a much fuller and more attractive plant. With light, water, and a little food, your avocado seed has become a thriving tree, a green and living testament to your care and patience.